Hi everyone, this is Abrar. Welcome to Abrar Knowledge channel. Today is something differently we will be doing it. So there is something called storytelling 26th storytelling series, and in which this story is quite different. Why? Because quite different is all from the poetic expression. That means from the linguistic point of view, I am sure that you will love this language. So the topic is today is the hero with a thousand faces. This is the book name and written by Joseph Campbell. So basically, this book speaks about various things, various great personality, and what motivation they had, what how they just met their goals and so on. So how they exceeded the goals and so on. So in this one, so this basically I just taken only small references from. One is the story function. In this story function, very nicely, the author tries to portray like how the storytelling tradition was on, and it also at the end it also gives that they hope that the story function will not die. So this is something I'm going to open up today. This is I'm just going to keep that precursor point. The next is 30 birds. 30 birds also, you from the linguistic point of view, you will love it because there are so many good phrases and sentences being used, and I'm sure that you will love it. So we'll talk about that moon and 30 days and all that. So the last one is the conference of the birds. Again, it is how that birds have got the courage to fly around and all. So let me what I have done differently this time is, so all these key notes which is I have written on my left, that is extracted version from the textbook, and some key words which I have used because this author is very interesting, and he uses so many, just like other author, he has used different terminologies and different terms. I just pin up here so that we can quickly discuss the meaning and so on. Yep. In the past 2 centuries, there has been an erosion of the oral storytelling traditions. You know, past 2 centuries, and I think the storytelling spirit has come down. Many clans and groups, clans meaning like close relatives and friends, when too quickly forced into another culture ideals. Yeah, so many the generation keep changing and all that, so they follow another cultures and all that, have been destabilized and economically, and therefore often destabilized as well. This can be cause entire group to become abruptly, painfully unstoried. Suddenly monetary need can cause the young and old to be separated from one another. So, and then it says like the young one travel far away seeking income. The same occurs when it is massive loss of hunting, fishing, farming habitat, and people must break family ties to seek the father and farther and farther from home for their sustenance or job. So in this one, basically first para stand out to be the how storytelling series has is slowly coming down. Another one again, it says that it talks about the oral traditions for 4 thousands of years. A solid oral tradition was on, meaning like something like the story was verbally told to one another and all that. So has dependent very factor actually. It says that first of all having the closest knit, meaning close knit, meaning like close, very close relatives. And this is what the best part I like it actually. So here he has used the word close knit. Another word he has used here actually, knit knit. So that means both are same one, but the expressions, everything is so amazing. So, by the way, so having close knit, meaning close relatives and related group to tell the story to, there must also be a time and place to tell the story, including a special time to tell certain stories, such as I know he talks about the village story and all that. So, and then the finally, it sum up very nicely. The next page, it says one of the most remarkable development that the crisscross meaning like it's a chemical terminology. it used for when the valencies of combining atoms are equal. For example, say you take Ca2 and you take oxygen O2. So the valency of combining atoms are same. So this is something actually it is just to show that how that remarkably, though it is a form of two different things. The old tradition, the oral tradition was different. Now it is different, but still the spirit and the story function itself has not died. Still continue on. That's what it uses the nice word. And old, no matter how urbanized a people may become, no matter how far they are living from family, how many generations away they are, and all of these is still tight knit. This is still connected to and tie up to tight knit heritage group, meaning like close relatives. Thing. People everywhere, nonetheless, will form, reform, talking about the storytelling. This appears to be strong drive in the psyche to be nourished and thought, because every story gives a lot of nourishment and thoughtful ideas, and also to nourish and teach the psyches of many other as possible with the best and deepest story that can be found. So this is first slide is all about what is story and how the tradition was there and all that. So nicely summarized. And then the next thing is it says is in 30 birds. Again, it's a poetic expression. Let me read it here. At the end of the story, yeah, we'll take this. Yeah. So at the end of the story, a pun meaning like joke with a different meaning. It was revealed and it is called Sai More, meaning 30 birds. The number 30 is considered that which makes a full cycle in 30 days to a month, during which the moon moves from the darkened to lit crescent and to full open and ultimately maturity, then continues on. It says talks about in the moon actually, how it from the darkness. If you say day one, it is a smaller, the day two has become little thicker and goes on and on. And one full day it will have a full moon, right? So then it talks nicely about that, and the point is that the cycle of seeing, seeking, falling, dying, being reborn into the new side, and always this process continues, right? Always it continues. This is the last advice given to anyone else who might glimpse such a lighter feather during darkness and long to follow to its source. And then it ends up by saying, whomsoever desire to explore the way, let them set out, for what more is there to say. These words are written 900 years ago. They portray a timeless idea how to journey the curve around. So basically, in this one, what it talks about how 30 different days, how the moon is adapting to the changes, adapting to everything. Like the birds also changing their feather and all that. So this is very nicely portrayed and communicate this point. So only these, I think there are two, three words being used here. The key word. One is pun. Pun is a joke with a different meaning. Lit meaning exciting or excited. Ions, indefinite, very long period of time and so on. So the conference of the bird, and this is the para, the search of for the highest treasure. In the ancient story called the conference of the bird, the flock of 1,000 birds during a time of great uphealing and darkness. Uphealing meaning like sudden change, a disruptive, suddenly it happens. During glimpse, an image of wholeness and eliminate feather, and that they thusly feel encouraged to take a long and arduous journey. Arduous journey meaning like difficult and tiring, a long one. To find out amazing bird, eliminate feather to belongs to. This is a narrative in poetic form of return in the 11th century Persian Sufi mystic. So basically, it talks about the conference of, the conference of the birds, how they go together, like thousands of birds go together and have this appealing tasks of how they complete it. So again, it says like when the helmet feather floats down from the sky, and one of the wisest of the bird reveal that this feather is in fact a precognition meaning like having knowledge of and all that visionary glimpse of the sempro, like the the great and so on. So basically, and also it talks about the birds are the many different kinds: short beak, long bill, fancy, plum, plain colored, enormous, tiny, and all these, regardless of size, shape. The birds who are witness this sudden, evenness, or who are the birds who witness this sudden and nuances send side to the lighted feather band together. So basically, it talks that in this para there are three things being discussed. One, it says like the how the conference of the bird, how they flock together, they fly together. That one thing talks about. And in the poetic expression, they also talk on irrespective of some has got short beak, long bill, and all that. But still, the feather quality, they always believe, and they just keep going. And then they make and then finally it says like these are all the words being used here. One is appeal, that is sudden change, suddenly ready, getting ready for the difficult task. And orders and grueling, both are same word. And this is the poetic expression. One para it use address, and another para is used grueling. You can see here grueling. So difficult and tiring. Psyche, you all know, like human soul, mind, spirit, and all that. Perilous, full of danger, a risk, and to search for something. And this is my last slide. The conference, I mean, it continues another version. 300 years after the Farid Deen Athar wrote this Conference of Good, the ancient poetry of Mayan people, which is translated to Spanish. So in this again, they say that they are frightened and say that the eternal warrior entity that leaves them. What if we die? What if we defeated? And the enormous brute force that guides them and all that. And then it says like, do not grieve, I'm here, do not be afraid of anything, and you just keep going what you do. So and then finally it sum up and says that it says, why not? So another version is the positive optimistic version is it says, once more. So this is the two word being used, and love is not friendly, and cuddling is overprotective. So thank you so much, and this is though it's a little poetic expression, but just to narrate the point that how Arthur beautifully conveys and portrayed an example of a feather. I mean, in both the cases, like whether it's the 30 30 birds, or in other things is the feather one in the conference of the birds. In both the cases, how one thing they just beautifully they narrated about the moon. The other version they narrated nicely about how the feather and all that. So I hope you like it, and please do like, share, and subscribe my channel. Have a nice day ahead.